o'clock. We will call the town board meeting for November 18th, 2024 to order. First item on the agenda is the agenda. Patrick?
Mr. Chair, there are no additions or deletions from staff on this evening's agenda.
Board have anything?
No.
Nothing.
Hearing none, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda as stated.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And then on item 3 is I need approval of payment of the bills.
I signed off, move to approve payment of the bills.
Second.
Motion's made second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, item 4 is the approval of the prior minute meetings from November 4th, 2024. Anybody have any corrections?
I did not see any.
No, I reviewed those and they looked fine. I can make a motion to approve the minutes of November 4th.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, item 5 is a consent agenda item. We have, I believe, 6. What's the board's pleasure?
There was a minor correction made, and staff made that correction on 5C? Let me go back up here. Just note that there was an error in actually it was 5F. One of the certificates had the wrong name on it, and they fixed that before the meeting today. So the records will reflect that it has the proper certificate for the town of White Bear. So move to approve all of them.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, moving on. Item 6A, this is North Oaks Old Business Joint Powers Agreement.
I'm going to throw this one over to my educated colleague, Chad.
Okay. Did you receive the red line version? I apologize for the lateness. Time got away from me.
Received it. I didn't see any red lines. Did we just added the 125%?
Well, actually, we did a couple of things. We
Should go
on
over
the
those, please.
in paragraph page 1, section 1, we had 125% of the tier 1 residential water rate as the rate to be charged. Then on page 2, still part of section 1, I added language that indicates that the city will be responsible for the construction of the large capacity water meters, construction installation of those meters, and then the town, after the town accepts them, will be responsible for maintenance of those meters, and in the event the town at the town's discretion, they decide they need to be replaced, the city will do so. And also in section 2B on page 3, I clarified that
B as in boy.
B as in boy,
Okay.
that all repairs all repairs and maintenance for which the city is responsible pursuant to the terms of this paragraph shall be completed in a reasonable manner. Basically, I think we were a little concerned that the maintenance obligations of the city weren't clear under 2B, and we just I tried to make it clear, clarify the fact that the city is responsible to maintain its own water system.
And I am very pleased to report that there is movement going on with securing an employee to provide maintenance to the North Oaks water system. So we were concerned. I feel that it's moving in a direction now that's positive.
We have not sent them the final version because we haven't
Well,
signed it yet.
what I did do was this, I got a call from their city attorney, and she requested I send a copy of the proposed joint powers, and I said it with the understanding it had not been approved by the board. So at least they've got a start on it. So those are the changes I made to the joint powers we reviewed on November 4th.
And you verified that 125%, that was what we were going to use?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, to be honest with you, I was wondering if we would create a special rate for them, but 125% seems to make sense with the tier 1.
It did to the utility commission as well.
That went through the utility committee for recommendation, correct?
They recommended? Okay.
You had mentioned there's movement now on someone to handle the maintenance end of it. What about the SCADA and water meeting readings, and have they even moved on that at all? because you can have all the maintenance you want, we're still going to get the reporting.
It's true. Baby steps, Mr. Chair.
Okay, well, otherwise, does that mean if there is a report to us, we would have to pass it on to whoever's supposed to be doing this in the time being?
Correct.
I just hate being the middleman, because if
I
something
do
gets
too.
dropped, then we're at,
I think we had assumed, I mean, at least in the early going of this agreement, there was going to be, I mean, it's not going to be a clean break. I don't think, we are going to be helping them along for a certain amount of time so that we've got comfort on both ends that it's okay to let it go.
Okay. And that's, I do understand that, and that's beyond what we're trying to prove tonight, so.
Yeah, that's
Is that
another
on our
discussion.
agenda, is that on our agenda for the exec meeting to discuss this next steps?
Believe so, and if it's not, we'll add.
Because the stuff that the chair talked about, we'd like to
Yeah.
have a discussion about that, because this should not be a never-ending date.
I totally
I mean, they've
agree.
had, how long?
2 years.
2 years. So,
now we're coming down to 2 months.
Not even.
Actually, a month and a half.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion based on the town attorney's review and recommendation to approve the joint powers agreement with the city of North Oaks with the stipulation that we continue, or that we accept that, but I'd also make sure we have that further discussion at the exec meeting.
Second that.
All right, motion made and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, moving on. Item 6B is the stable properties.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the EDA board just held its meeting right before this one. It made a recommendation to the township board to accept the appraisal that's been submitted, and that is in your packet. Subsequent to further discussion of the appraisal relevant to real estate transaction, that would be handled in a closed session.
Chad, I know we've talked about this before. We don't have to sell at an appraisal value,
No, you do not.
but we can obviously try to sell for more if
You
we
can,
counter
sure.
offer.
Yes,
So that's still on the table.
but we're kind of getting on into what a
Right.
closed session would be. But no, Mr. Chair, you're correct. There's no obligation to sell it for the appraised value.
All right, board have any questions on the appraisal?
No.
Very thorough.
They always are.
All right, hearing none. I need a motion to accept.
I'll move to accept the appraisal report of the stable property.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? All right, moving on. Item 7A, this is a public hearing, so that's concerning a lot split on Stillwater Street. I need a motion to waive the reading.
I'll move to waive the reading that was properly published.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, then I need a motion to open up the hearing.
I'll move to open the hearing.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm having a little failure here on my computer. All right, who's going to start this? Evan?
Sir, Mr. Chair. So before you tonight, you have a minor subdivision. They're requesting to split an existing lot into 2 parcels. The map before you and on the screens tonight is the buildability plan. You also have the survey for the minor subdivision itself in your packet before you tonight. Just summarize the meeting memo before you. This current parcel has a house and 2 accessory structures. It would be split into 2. Parcel A is proposed to have the existing house and the 2 garages remain on that parcel. A lot line would run north to south, splitting that parcel into 2, and parcel B would then be located on the east half. That would be vacant and available for future development. There is a wetland on the south side of the property. That would be essentially 50-50 split between parcel A and parcel B. The properties that are proposed before you tonight would meet the size, the impervious surface coverage requirements, as well as the width/frontage requirements of the township. These lots would be zoned 1 as what they are zoned currently, so these would be able to continue in the case of parcel A to be single-family residential, or for parcel B, be developed as a single-family lot in the future. Parcel B would have approximately 2,100 square feet of land outside of required setbacks. Those include both the setbacks from the lot line, all the frontages, since you have the alleyway, as well as the 2 streets. And then you'd also have a setback from that wetland. In order to meet the township requirements for elevation above flood level or storm level elevations, the applicant proposed and prepared a buildability plan, which is that second map in your packet before you tonight. That shows the grading and future work that would have to be done to allow future development on the site. That blue area shown as the crosshatched on the plan shows a future house pad, driveway, basically any sort of development in the future. That area totals just over 1,800 square feet for future development on that site. And then that would be compliant again with setbacks and other requirements of the township.
Evan, which way was the driveway going? Is it going east or south?
There's no driveway shown on there.
But I mean, which way would it access?
You could either go to the north to the alley, or you could go towards Park Avenue to the east.
Okay.
I think likely you'd go towards the alley based on, laying a house down there. But you do have options.
All right.
This lot, since it is a minor subdivision, does trigger parkland dedication as found in your subdivision ordinance. Since there is no parkland identified in our comprehensive plan, fee in lieu would be required instead of land. That value would be $3,500 and would be required to be paid by the applicant. We do have other comments from agencies and staff included in your meeting memo. Engineering and Public Works had a handful of comments. Those have since been addressed by the latest plans before you tonight. The options you have are to either approve with findings as well as conditions or without conditions. You could also deny with findings for denial, or you could choose to table for further review. The recommendation from the Planning Commission was to approve the request. There is a draft resolution that includes those conditions of approval. And if you want me to summarize those conditions, the proposed minor subdivision would have to adhere to the survey dated and received by the township on 11/7/2024. They would still have to add erosion control measures and stabilization notes onto the survey regarding that existing gravel driveway that would be removed as requested by the watershed district. They would have to pay the required parkland dedication fee, as we discussed, of $3,500. Any future development on that proposed parcel B would have to adhere to the watershed rules at time of application. 4 utility connection fees for water and sewer on proposed parcel B would have to be paid prior to any sort of connection. 5, any future development on parcels A and B shall have the lowest elevation of any buildings be 3 feet above the 100-year storm elevation as required by town ordinance. You'd also have to have a geotechnical report reviewed by the township prior to building permits issued for future development on parcel B. 5B, the existing gravel driveway as discussed earlier would have to be removed. And 5C, future development on parcel B would have to adhere to that buildability plan reviewed here tonight that is dated 11/8/2024. Condition 6, they'd have to acquire any other permits. Condition 7, they'd have to adhere to any required rules, whether that's federal, state, or local. And then the last condition, they would have to pay any fees or escrows associated with this request.
That it?
That is it.
Isn't that enough?
All right, Steve, were you at the?
I was at,
commission?
yes, I was. And there was a lot of discussion. They didn't have any issues with it after, this was the second time it,
Yeah, so we had reviewed initially in August. There's some outstanding review of the stormwater issues on the site that Engineering and Public Works asked for. Their engineer, the applicants, worked with our engineer, and then came up with this buildability plan that you have seen before you tonight.
Mike Johnson also attended this, at least the second one. He didn't have any issues for the planning commission that he was overly concerned with, so they recommended approval.
Any questions, Evan?
Yeah, did the 35-foot setback from any right-of-way in the town, including alleys, was there any discussion, has there been any discussion recently on looking at the setbacks, we have so few alleys. None of these meet none of the homes, garages, structures on this alley
A
meet the
little old,
setback
you could say.
requirement. I'm thinking we should have the planning commission take a look and consider that. Does it make more sense to go with a 20 versus a 35? This is a full-size lot, exceeds 12,000 square foot buildable area, which is the key, yet the building pad is less than 2,000 square feet. Pretty small. If that setback were changed, it would give them a little bit more flexibility for, not say, maybe a
We'll
little
get you
larger
now.
house. Those are my that's my question, I guess, comment. That would not, that setback, if it were to be changed, wouldn't reflect on this, what we're looking at tonight. That could be, if it were to be changed, that could change the setback in the buildable area when they decide to build a home there.
Correct.
Was there any talk of allowing variances on this newly developed lot or not?
No, there was no.
Usually if
conversation.
it's at
There
least,
was really none.
right, if it meets the buildable size, we don't normally jump in with variances.
The unique one about, the thing about this lot is it has the great big wetland,
Yes.
which has been a source of discussion for many, many years, as I recall. And they're working around it. They're meeting setbacks.
Yes.
Right, Steve, anything else?
No.
All right, if there's no other questions of Evan, looking for a motion to open the public portion of the meeting.
I'll move to open the public portion of the hearing.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. Anybody who wants to speak to this, we need you to come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record,
Hi, Scott Montgomery. You want my home address or the address of the property?
your address.
I live at 4806 200th Street North in Forest Lake. Good to see you, Ed, and Tom, and Chad. You know, I was thinking the same thing, Tom, on that setback. If you drive up that alley, every garage is right on the alley. It's not even a couple feet off. It seems like they're right on the alley. So I didn't want to apply for a variance. I was thinking about it, but I thought, somebody told me it wasn't going to be a problem, or it wasn't going to be possible to get a variance for that setback. So is it possible? I don't know. It sure would help.
Well, normally our variances used to be based on hardship, but now they've moved to reasonable use of the property. And when you have reasonable use, that pad could fit a certain amount of size of a house with a garage without any variances. So then you have that battle to try to prove why you need more. You need more setback.
It probably wouldn't meet the standards set by the state to approve a variance.
It wouldn't?
I don't think it would, as far as,
Unless
it's a brand new open lot, so you've got a building, assuming it's approved, it's got a footprint, you could build a house to meet setbacks. Where's your hardship?
Yeah, there's no practical difficulty.
Yeah, I understand that. It's just the size gets squeezed down, and
Exactly.
a little closer to the alley would be reasonable, or
Yeah, and I understand, and that's why I thought, again, we have a couple of developed alleys. Can we just do a planning review of the alleys and what the setbacks are?
I
And
was
if,
thinking is maybe the rules should be looked at, and so alley situations would be different than, a street situation, which would, in this case,
And we like to look at the character of the neighborhood anyway, because we have so many different areas in the township that are unique.
Yes.
So that all comes into play too, so.
right. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them that are grandfathered in because they've been there forever.
right.
I mean, yeah, I agree. The best way to handle it would be simply to review our own ordinances, decide if we need to change the setback. Instead of doing it one at a
For tonight,
time,
though, we're just as is.
as is.
As is.
Okay, if we need more room, could we come back?
Well, then you'd probably have to have a plan and a building and the full application for a permit, so.
Okay, all right, makes sense.
Better.
We're not precluded from applying for a variance in the future.
No.
Right.
Just
Whoever
saying
decides
it's
to build
on.
on there could maybe come in and.
They could always come in, just that I wouldn't promise it.
So to be clear, that what Tom's recommending though is that we look at that part of the ordinance
Correct. Yes, and
totally outside of what
Irregardless
you're talking. So,
that's the best way to do it.
yes.
Okay, any questions for me?
Board have any questions?
I
All
don't have any.
right, thanks, Scott.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Sue Halverson, and I'm at 2645 Stillwater Street. And I wanted to let you know that, I built a garage back in 2000 and had a variance for my driveway, and it's 20 feet. And mine's probably the more generous one of most of the alley. I don't think anyone has a 35-foot setback. And it's worked very well. You can easily park a car in front of the garage. So that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Sue. Anyone else? Going once, going twice? All right, I'm looking for a motion to close the public comment portion.
I'll move to close the public comment portion of the hearing.
Second?
Motion's made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, if there's no further questions of staff, what's the board's pleasure?
Well, based on the planning commission and review, I'd consider adopting the resolution approving our request for a minor subdivision to split an existing parcel into the 2 parcels.
And this would be along with staff recommendations.
Yes, as outlined.
Recommendations.
So you
Yep.
recommend to adopt the resolution presented tonight?
Correct.
Yes.
I would support that resolution, yes. So second, Steve's agenda, supporting that resolution.
All right, motion made second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Good luck, Scott.
Can I make another motion to have the planning commission at a future, soon as possible, or future meeting, take a look at a zoning ordinance amendment considering the setback from right-of-ways that are defined as alleys in the township, and
Well,
just give us an overall setback review.
before I'll second that, is it not more reasonable to have the planner do some work before it gets to the planning commission as far as,
Present it to the
yes,
commission?
simply because they're going to send it, they're going to say, well, we don't have enough to make that decision without some background. So if you don't mind, I'd rather have the planner do a
That's
little-
what I wanted to do, yes.
Work.
Little planner research on alleys.
You're really saying the motion would be to direct the planner to study this issue and report back
To the commission?
to the
Yes,
commission.
to the planning commission.
Are you up to the task, Evan?
Only for you, Ed.
Thank you for the.
I'll second Tom's motion
All
then.
right, motion made second. All in favor? Aye. All right, moving on. We have one more agenda item. This is discussion regarding Rush Line appointee.
Yeah,
Which was
sure.
probably Scott, and he bailed on us,
He
right?
did. No, to be completely frank, I don't know if it was much of a priority for Scott's time, and justifiably so. I mean, it's such a small little sliver of the township that's involved in the Rush Line. But I was asked by the group to see if we had an elected official that was interested in fulfilling this obligation. I was going to offer it to Tom, but
I'm good till the end of the year.
that's right. So I don't know if you want to wait until our new board member comes on, or maybe you want to fulfill it temporarily for any discussions that happen between now and the beginning of the year, or what's the board's pleasure?
Isn't the Rush Line whole issue kind of just fizzled here for a while?
Not
Is there
nearly as hot as
anything-
it used to be.
They were having regular meetings to get together. They're not doing that anymore, are they?
Not as much.
So is there a reason to even appoint anybody right now?
They're asking us.
They're asking.
So, Mr. Chair, I would prefer to table this item and discuss it at the exec meeting
Okay.
for a little more background, because I don't know where it's, for the reason we just said, I don't know where it's sitting. I don't know what the priority is. I don't know what they're looking for. Once upon a time, our staff planner was on that committee, I believe.
Yes.
And so it was at a staff level versus an elected official. So I don't know what all these, but let's talk about it at the exec. That's
Sounds good to me.
I vote to table it.
Okay.
There's a couple groups that have met on that, basically a staff level and then the elected official level. So, did you make that motion?
I did.
I will second.
All right, motion made second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we have no added agenda items. We have open time. Anyone like to come up to the podium? You can give your name and address and say whatever you want. Be famous, get on camera.
Here's your chance.
Sure.
We've never got a student yet to do it.
That's right.
Yeah, you'd be the first if you want to get up there and talk.
Trailblazer.
All right, hearing no one for open time, I need a motion to see agenda material and supplements.
So moved?
Second?
All fair say aye.
Aye.
And then I need a motion to adjourn at 7:25.
So moved.
Second.
All fair say aye.
Aye.
And you came to a great meeting because it only lasted 25 minutes.
Yes. Good choice. Done.